The United States is deeply disappointed by Russia's veto of the United Nations Security Council's 1718 Committee Panel of Experts mandate renewal. We are also disappointed that the People's Republic of China decided to abstain after 14 years of supporting this important mandate. For the past 15 years, the 1718 Committee Panel of Experts has been the gold standard for providing fact-based, independent analysis and recommendations on the implementation of UN sanctions on the DPRK. Throughout those 15 years, the panel of experts enjoyed the Security Council's unanimous support and, up until this year, has been renewed by consensus. Russia's actions today have cynically undermined international peace and security, all to advance the corrupt bargain that Moscow has struck with the DPRK. Moscow appears to be intent on facilitating the DPRK's illegal pursuit of weapons of mass destruction, and its veto today was a self-interested effort to bury the panel's reporting on its own collusion with the DPRK to secure weapons that it can use to further its aggression against Ukraine. Russia alone will own the outcome of this veto. A DPRK more emboldened to reckless behavior and destabilizing provocations, as well as reduced prospects for an enduring peace on the Korean Peninsula. Despite today's veto and abstention, all Security Council resolutions and UN measures addressing the DPRK's unlawful WMD and ballistic missile programs remain in effect. We will continue to work to counter the DPRK's unlawful actions, work with like-minded states through all available means to limit the threat posed by the DPRK, and respond to efforts by its enablers to shield the DPRK from responsibility. And with that, John?
Sure, let me follow up on that to begin with. Say Russia alone will own the outcome of the veto. Could you explain a little bit about what you mean by that? Obviously you're saying that Russia has a self-interest in this, but do you think there are any repercussions? Is there anything that the U.S. Or elsewhere is going to do to enforce the sanctions a bit more after this?
So the sanctions will continue to be in effect, as I said, but unfortunately this important panel has not seen its mandate renewed, and we will continue to work to secure information about the DPRK's pursuit of illegal weapons, and we will continue to work to make that information public and make it available to other members of the Security Council. But I think what we've seen as a result of Russia's, or what we will see as a result of Russia's actions today, is a DPRK that's emboldened. It continues to be largely isolated in the world, but we are in a different place than when you had Russia and China voting to uphold accountability for the DPRK. And now you've seen a Russia that has cut this bargain with the DPRK because it's in desperate need of weapons to pursue its aggression against Ukraine. And then you saw today one of the ways that Russia is delivering on its end of the bargain with DPRK, which is try to undercut what had been up until now unanimous United Nations Security Council actions.
Just to follow up on that, I know that the U.S. has publicly spoken of cooperation between the DPRK and Russia. Is it your view that this will actually pave the way for greater cooperation? There are reports that the Russian spy chief was in Pyongyang, I think it was this week even. Is there a concern that in light of this that there will be greater military cooperation?
I don't think that what happened today paves the way for greater DPRK-Russia cooperation. I think today, what happened today is an example of greater DPRK-Russia cooperation. We saw that cooperation kick off last year when there began to be increased talks between the two, and then of course we've seen the DPRK transfer military equipment to Russia that has shown up on the battlefield in Ukraine. It's been used by Russia to further its war against Ukraine, and we've been waiting to see how some of the ways that Russia would hold up its end of the bargain. I think we saw one of them today.
Sure. Maybe I can switch topics unless somebody else has the DPRK. I was wondering if you have a reaction to the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, just today on Israel, saying that that Israel must ensure urgent humanitarian assistance, and that famine has already set in Gaza.
So that order, to my understanding, was just issued in the last hour. Our team is reviewing it right now, so I don't have a detailed reaction to the full text of the order. It's something we want to review before we give that reaction. But as a general proposition, of course, increasing humanitarian assistance to Gaza is something that we support and something that we have urged Israel to help facilitate. So that general conclusion is very much something we agree with, but as it pertains to the exact text of the order, I want to give the team time here to look through it before I respond in detail.
Just one more for me. I know you just said that you want time to review it, but is it the word binding again, but the International Court of Justice, is it the view of the United States that Israel must comply with this, that it must do more?
Again, having not even reviewed the order myself and knowing that there's a team reviewing, I don't want to respond until we've had a chance to do that.
But I mean, just to follow up on that, can you say that in principle,
In principle, of course, we support the work of the ICJ, but I don't know if this, I just haven't reviewed the exact text to know how it applies in this instance, so I'm obviously loath to comment on it for that reason.
I see, okay. We might come back to this, but just on, do you have a reaction on the new Palestinian cabinet that's been announced? Is it, what do you think about it? Because the U.S. has called for reform of the Palestinian Authority. Looking at the list and the fact that a new cabinet has been announced, is this something that the United States welcomes?
So we have long urged the Palestinian Authority to form a reform cabinet with new leadership. You've heard the Secretary speak to this during his travels in the region. And so now that the PA has appointed a new cabinet, we will be looking to this new government to deliver on policies and implement credible and far-reaching reforms. It's something we've spoken to a number of times, our belief that a reformed PA is essential to delivering results for the Palestinian people and establishing the conditions for stability in both the West Bank and Gaza. So we will engage with this government based on its actions. We'll be closely tracking the steps it takes to advance the key reforms and look forward to engaging with them on that matter.
Can you get into what the specific reforms you're hoping for actually look like?
So I'm not going to get into specific reforms, but broadly speaking, we have encouraged them to implement reforms that crack down on corruption. We have encouraged them to implement reforms that increase transparency, that increase media freedoms, and increase the ability for civil society to engage with the government.
And you said you're looking for them to, I think you said like act on policy, like which policies are you hoping that they
Well, that's what, just the ones I just referred
Those
to.
ones.
Yeah, those.
Okay.
But also, I think it's important. So we've always believed that the PA needed to be a government that was fully representative of the Palestinian people in the West Bank and in Gaza. I do note that there are Palestinians from Gaza who are members of this new cabinet. We have always made clear that we're not going to pass judgment on specific individuals. That's not for the United States to do. Those are decisions for the Palestinian people. But we do welcome them taking steps to make a cabinet that is fully representative of the Palestinian people. And now we will look to them to implement policies that follow up on reform and deliver on the demands that we have heard over and over from the Palestinian people.